Okay, guys, one more for the day. We're going to do carotid reporting in vidistar here. Now, I've just created a mock test here because we're trying to keep patient data off of the YouTube channel here. So I'm going to flip my screen around so you can gone in and actually, created a test. This would be obviously where your pictures would be. So you're going to go just like you normally would, report. You're going to toggle down to vascular, and then you're going to bring your little arrow over, and the cerebral vascular report is what you want. So you'll hit that, and then your report's going to be really easy to do. Let's just let this populate. I'm going to go ahead and hit show report. And again, I've just done some mock numbers here so that way we have a report and we can actually show you guys. Okay, so let's let this load. Back it up a little bit. All right, so you're going to hit the, doctor's name as normal. You'll go to the procedure code. Procedure code for the carotid is going to be 93880. You're going to double click that. If you need verification on whether or not that's populated up, you can either drop that down or you can hit the show report, and then you can see it right there. Obviously, you would have already put in your diagnosis, but if you need to put in your diagnosis manually, you can go to the diagnosis and hit the free text and type it in there, or you can type in your code there and it'll populate down here just the way the CPT code does. Okay, so measurements. So first thing, if your machine works the way that mine does, when you take your ECA and your vertebral, it's going to do a EDB measurement. And obviously we only take a peek on that. So you're going to take those out, okay? So just unclick the boxes and then they'll disappear. So you want to do that for each side. So bring it down. Boom, 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 boom. Oop, we went too far. Bring it back up, bring it back up. Okay, so take out the EDB. Bam, bam. Okay, so let's go back to the right side. All right, so for the for the carotid right side, we're going to go to the findings. And this is really simple. This is typically what I do is I'm going to go off of, we have a chart that's on the report here that's going to give you, your gradients of stenosis with your values. So if nothing gets above 125, I usually just mark it as being mild. And then if something gets above that, then you can start looking at the ratios and the values that you're getting. Here's your ratios, your peak velocities, and kind of go from that, okay? So you can go to your CCA, and then you'll click the amount of stenosis that you saw, amount of plaque. You can actually put in there as well the segment. Maybe everything was good, but maybe the distal portion got a little, elevated. So you could do distal end, and then everything is all drop down. Very, very easy. So fill this out accordingly, and you're going to do the same thing for the ICA. So bring it on down here, and we have the same thing for ICA. So let's just say mild, and again, pull this out down here, and I'm going to say it's in the mid region. And then here, there's some other options here as well that I like to mess with sometimes. So say like your artery was really tortuous. Maybe like the velocities were only elevated from that and there really wasn't a significant amount of plaque. Well, let's say it was in the ICA here. Let's say it was like the mid region that starts to really just completely do a 90-degree turn on you. So you could put moderate and then put the mid, and the tortuosity will populate in the report. So there's those options if you want that. There's occluded. Any of these options you can just bubble in. And then the other part is you can put in the ICA if you keep toggling down. If the ECA is above like 150, I'll usually mark it as being elevated velocities. So let's say it was above 150. So we'll put elevated here. And then the last step is if for some reason you saw that your vertebrals were retrograde, then you could mark it here, okay? So very simple, all just drop downs and bubble fill-ins. You always have your free text if you want to put anything in there as well, and you would do this to both the right and the left side. Once you've completed that, you can sign your report and you are done.